I had an interesting incident today which made me feel that it is not our skill or our intelligence that doesn't get us results at times. It is probably the lack of ownership that we show in certain tasks. So there was this not a very complicated, a simple task that I had given to someone a couple of days ago, and it should have been done probably in a day or two because it was not too difficult of a task. However, the reply that I got today was quite lackluster, and it showed quite a lack of effort and ownership, I would say. And as soon as I got involved, in probably less than 30-35 minutes or 40 minutes max, I made a couple of phone calls. I spoke to a couple of people outside of my organization, and I was more or less able to accomplish the job that I had given to that person. What I feel at times is that ownership is something that cannot be taught. A lot of times, what happens is we delegate tasks in our personal life as well as in our professional lives to people, and you know for sure that this particular person is not going to be doing too much about it. The needle is not going to move too much, although that person might say that they're on it and they are going to get it done, but then you know for sure that the task will not get accomplished, or the result at least will not be too positive. So these kind of people, what I feel is they are moreover interested in getting a reply from the other party rather than actually investing themselves and getting a result out of it. I'm not saying to get 100% result or 100% success rate. Even if 70 to 80% of the task is done and we are 70-80% closer to the finish line, that completely works, is what I feel, because having 100% expectation would be unrealistic. Then there are some people who are quite interesting in their approach to any problem or anything that has been delegated to them. They invest themselves 100% into that problem, right? Most of the times, the problems are going to be even newer for them and even, of course, out of their reach. They think of that problem from a 360-degree angle, from all the possible perspectives that can be thought of. It's not necessary that they might have handled that problem before, but they somehow will manage to get the result, somehow manage to at least be able to finish the task 50, 60, 70%, whatever is in their power. And then they hand it over to you saying, it's done until here, and what else can be done? Is there a pivot needed? Is there a directional change that is needed? Or probably the approach has to be changed. I am personally of those kind of people who give in their 100% to the particular task. Once a problem has been handed over to me, then the problem becomes mine. I take full ownership of that problem. The problem literally becomes mine, and it becomes a part of my mental space and my personality and my personal life. Is I would take that problem very very personally, as to I have to get a result out of this, and mostly a positive result. If it's in my power, I will give in my 100% to that problem and get the result and get it done. What if most people started operating with this kind of a mindset, with this kind of an approach? How would it affect not just others, but how would it affect them, their own lives? At what pace would they start moving at? What kind of abilities would they develop? What kind of learnings will they have once they start seeing problems and taking ownership in the manner that we are discussing? It would really pace up their speed, the way the world looks at them, the way they see the world, and the kind of confidence and the kind of motivation they would have and the kind of fire they would have in themselves to be able to tackle problems henceforth. That really leaves me to one thought, that the difference between exceptional and average is not intelligence or effort. It is most of the times ownership. I'll leave you guys to that thought. This is First Principles. My name is Zaid, and thank you for tuning in.